So, this is our recap of everything from the past 2 weeks. So, machines are devices that can make work easier by changing a force. They can change the direction of the force or the size of the force, so they can make you stronger or weaker or faster or just change directions. And there are 6 simple machines, these ancient, super old machines that humans have used for thousands and thousands of years. Those machines are the inclined plane, the lever, the wedge, the screw, the pulley, and the wheel and axle. And we have looked at examples of these. We've looked at how each and every one of them is used. And now we're going to move on from simple to complex machines. So, a complex machine or a compound machine is a machine that's made from more than one simple machine. So, if you combine multiple simple machines into one individual part, or one individual tool, that tool is then called a compound machine. So we can think about some tools like scissors. So scissors have 2, maybe 3 machines, depending on how you break it down. Looking at a bike, I can think of probably at least 5 or 6 machines that go into it. And if you look at a machine like a car, there are hundreds of examples of simple machines all throughout it to make it work. So this is a wheelbarrow, and wheelbarrows are used to not just lift, but also to move heavy objects. So they first use a lever. So the lever has the input force over here on the handles, and its fulcrum is right here on the axle, because this whole thing is going to lift up, and the load goes in the middle. I believe this is a 3rd class lever, so this makes it easier to lift up the load, and once it's off the ground and resting on the wheel, you can use the wheel and axle to reduce friction and make it easier to move the whole thing. So you use the lever to make it easier to lift, you use the wheel and axle to make it easier to move, and you combine those two and you get the wheelbarrow. So this week, you guys are not going to have a quiz. Instead, you're going to be going on a scavenger hunt. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at how that's going to work right now. So the rules of this scavenger hunt. So your teacher is going to screen share a slideshow with you, and that slideshow is just pictures of simple machines. Once a simple machine appears on the screen, you have 2 minutes to find an example of it in your surroundings. So you can look around, you can see if you have like school supplies, maybe you have something in the kitchen, something in your room that is an example of that simple machine. Once you find it, bring it back to the computer and hold it up to the camera so that the whole class can see it. If you can't bring your example to the computer, you can ask the adults around if you can get permission to carefully bring your device to it so you can show people that way. But you have to be extremely careful for that. Even though there's a time limit, no running, no rushing if you're moving these devices around. And once you find what you have, make sure you can explain what part of it is the simple machine. Maybe you can move something to show what it's doing. Maybe you can point out like this part is the lever, but this part isn't. And just as a hint here, some things have multiple simple machines in them. So you might be able to find one object that you can use for multiple simple machines. Kind of shortcut the scavenger hunt. If you bring something that doesn't count, your teacher might ask you to put it back and try again. Remember, you do have that 2-minute time limit, so move quickly but carefully. And just to give you an example of what that's going to look like, so this is kind of what those slides are going to be. So once this image appears, you would have 2 minutes to find this.
Here's an example of how you can find those simple machines all around your own house. If you see a string, see if you can figure out what kind of simple machine this could be. See what it does, see how it's being used. Once you found this pulley, now you have your example for the scavenger hunt, and you just have to figure out a way to get it on camera. Good luck!